Hey, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher. How are you? It's Friday, August 9th, and this is video number 14. And I'm Saltbox Stitcher, and this is a video about cross stitching. So, um, glad to see you today. It's been a little more than a month, and kind of been a busy summer. Although I have done a little bit of stitching, so I'd be glad to show you all that. And I'm really excited. This coming Wednesday, I'm leaving for the attic for summer school, which is the retreat, which is like a long weekend, and I can't wait. So anyway, meeting some friends there and going to meet some new friends, and it's all going to be good. So anyway, I thought I'd show you what I've been doing. I have 3 finishes. I actually kind of waited to do this video because I was waiting for some of my framing to come back, and I just got a call yesterday that it was finished and they were shipping it, but I didn't think it'd be back by, if it comes back Tuesday, that's like right before I leave for the attic, and I didn't want to have to collect everything. So I will definitely show that. I'll do another video when I get back from the attic, show you anything that I got there. Who am I kidding? And show you those frame pieces. So that'll be kind of fun. But anyway, I thought I'd show you what I've finished, and I don't know what order I finished these. It doesn't really matter. I apologize for my last video. I was just like winging it, I guess. I don't know. I watched it, which was painful, and I kept wondering, what in the heck? You're just like, seemed like I was just disorganized, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I put it together on the fly. You know, sometimes you think you have everything together, and then when you go to do it, you're like, oh, I don't have this, or this is in with that, and then I got to sort through it. And so I apologize. That one was not great. So anyway, the first piece I'm going to show you is a piece called Jane Stanwick's 1843. It's a sampler. And I got this kit at Country Sampler. I don't think I got it the last time I went, but I think I got it the time before. And it's Jane Stanwick's sampler, 1843. I love this sampler. It's not huge. There's quite a bit of stitching in it, so, you know, it was really fun. Really fun. Love the red house. I think the last time I showed you this, I had part of this teal border finished. It was kind of a pitiful start, but it's done. And here's the pattern. Jane Stanwick's 1843. It's by Samplers Revisited. I believe you can still get a kit at Country Sampler. I think it, let me think. I want to say it had a Country Sampler color conversion, because it may have been originally done in silks, but I did this in overdyed cottons, Gentle Art Weeks, Crescent Colors. No, Classic Color Works. Anyway, I love it. Jane Stanwick's 1843. I'm kind of getting a collection of things again that I need to have framed, but I have 4 pieces coming, and it's just pricey. I know a lot of people kind of do one at a time, but if I do 2 samplers and finish them in like 6 weeks, it's a lot. Plus, I've been spending all my money going on all these fun retreats, which is wonderful. I love them. Okay, the next one I want to show you is Isabella Fox, and I've shown this a couple times. I kind of put it away for a while because I was really debating on the color on Adam and Eve, and I had finished one in like a light tan, and I had finished one in pink, you'll remember. And so I took both of those out and I went with this color. It's kind of a dark tan-ish, but it's Isabella Fox, 1827. Love the tree with all the hanging fruit. And I love the top part too here with the angels and the big tulips. The beautiful red on the border. This one has a lot of red, which I love. And that one, Isabella Fox, is by GGR. GGR shows the pictures of the antique versus the pictures of the reproduction stitched. So sometimes you have to kind of use your imagination because obviously when you do it, it'll look more your colors or more updated. This one was done on, let's see, I thought I wrote it down and I didn't. This one I did with the Attic, had a silk conversion. The first time I ever saw this sampler was on Nicole's Needlework, and I loved it. And so I got the pattern, and then she said she had used the Attic silk, so I got that. I want to say this is Sand Dune by Lakeside Linens, and it's 36 count. And I failed to tell you, this one is done on a week's. I think it's Confederate Gray, also 36 count. And did I show you the pattern? Whoops, I showed you the pattern. This is the next one. This is Chessie and Me, and this is Sarah Casey Unwin. This was a stitch along last year through Country Sampler. And this one, Country Sampler did a I think they did a conversion. Anyway, I definitely got this through Country Sampler. And it's finished. Again, red house. Can you see it all? It's kind of big. And this one is done on, see, I'm terrible at remembering. I know this is I think this is a Lakeside Meadow Rue, maybe. 36 count. All these are 36 count. And this is nice because there was no over one. So here's the top. And there's also a pattern or chart for the top part of this if you don't want to stitch the whole thing. I don't have that chart because I wanted to stitch the whole thing. But it's like this. It's similar to this. It has the big basket. And you can, make a big pin pillow. You could frame it. Brenda, Sampler Stitcher, finished hers, the top third of it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So those were my 3 finishes. Isabella Fox, I had started quite a while ago, last year sometime, put it away because of the dilemma I was having with the body colors of Adam and Eve. Why does my nose itch when I get on camera? I don't know. Must be all the talking. I don't know. Anyway, so those are finished. They'll go in a stack until I can quilt enough for framing. Because I do like to have them professionally framed. I've framed some, but I just don't stretch them tight enough. And I've tried to pin, I've tried to lace, I've tried to do both, and it's just not the same as when they do it professionally. So, plus I think your choice of styles of frames is a lot greater when you get them professionally framed. I don't do it here locally. I do it with Total Framing is who I send it to, and they're in Virginia Beach. They're very good. You can send them pieces. They let you know when they arrive, and then they will text you with different choices, so you can, usually like 3 choices, and if you don't like those, you can say, pick some more. I'm usually pretty specific, no glass, frame them tight, which means, within 1/4 inch or so. I have framed, I've had things framed like this one. Now that's tight, more tight. This one has a bigger margin. It just depends. I think the more I do, the more I like them tight. So that's that. I don't think this is going to be a super long video. Part of the summer we went to the beach. I call it a staycation because we really stay in Jacksonville. So every other year or so, my brother and his wife and my sister and her husband and various grown children, if they decide to join, come to Jacksonville, and we all stay at the beach, including us, because it's like, 11 miles or whatever, and it's a pain to come home every day, and it's just easier to stay there too. So this year, my daughter said they weren't going anywhere on a vacation. She said, how about we go to the beach, just you and me and the kids? So her husband stayed home, and my husband stayed home, but they would come out for dinner or whatever. And then her and I and the kids were 4 days, 3 nights, 5 days, 4 nights, something like that. We stayed at the beach. And it wasn't really relaxing. No, we really had a lot of fun. And the kids are really cute. And they're both learning to swim. And so we went to the pool. We went to the ocean. It was really nice. So it was a nice break. But I did not do that much stitching because, once in a little bit, sometimes every day we'd come in for a little bit when it just got too hot and you got to get out of the sun, and I might stitch a little bit. But I didn't do my evening stitching. I had a child sleeping in the same bed. So I didn't do my typical evening stitching. So I got these 3 finished. Both of those were part of my whips. And when you get things finished that were in your whip pile, then you're like, oh, I need to start some new things. Rather than finish the other whips, which would be the smart thing to do. And I need to get back to Red Deer. Somebody said, I started Red Deer because of you. Why haven't you finished or gotten back to it? I do need to get back to it. And there's a number of pieces that kind of call me, and that's definitely one of them. So I might stitch on that a little bit tonight. But sometimes I'll get going on a sampler, and then I don't want to put it away. So let me show you the ones that I started. This is not me. I usually don't do multiple starts within like a week. But I did. It's summer. Let it all hang out. Freedom. So these are not necessarily in the order that I started them. But I started, can you see that? There's a glare. This is Mary Cooke by the Scarlet House. I've had this kitted for a while. And again, there's no over 1. So I thought, I really want to start that. It's not, the border's really pretty simple. It has a lot of red. And it has an Adam and Eve here. So I thought, I'm going to start that. That looks really fun. I'm using the called for, which are silks, or as Carolyn Stash Sisters says, princess threads. When I go, I'm going to call her Your Highness. Oh, I guess those of us that use silk should all have crowns, tiara. Anyway, Mary Cooke, 1795. This came out in 2016 by Tanya from the Scarlet House. Mary Cooke, 1795. And this is my progress. I have the border all the way around. I was surprised how big this is. Now I'm stitching it on 36 count. And this is Vintage Pecan Butter by Lakeside. And I kind of thought in my mind it would be like, I don't know, 13 by 13, 12 by 14. You know, I could read the back of the pattern that says if you use 36 counters, it can be like 15 and a half by 16 and a half, but that didn't process in my brain. So anyway, I have the border all the way around. I have a couple flowers because the border just has a simple flower. This is if it has pink and red. And then last night I like to be able to have fill-in when I travel. You know, if you're on the airplane or you're stitching with friends, you don't have to count. So like the inside of this tree is all filled in with a different color. It will be. So that'll be a good fill-in. And then there's another one of those trees on the other side. So I'll get that one. And then I'll leave them open so that I can fill them in when I'm SWF, stitching with friends. Anyway, did I show you the threads? Here's the threads. Most of these are Belle Soie, which is Classic Colorworks silk. There's one NPI. Isn't that gorgeous? That's just pretty. I don't care who you are. That's just pretty. And the colors look great on that. So, I might go back to Red Deer tonight, but I'm really enjoying that one, so it's kind of hard to go back to something else. The other thing I started, and I've wanted to start this for a while. I think I posted on Instagram that I actually had it kitted with 30 count, which is what it calls for. Well, 30 count, you know, you'd have to use 2 strands. You know, if you get used to stitching with 1 strand, it's just hard to go back to 2. The main reason, because then you have to be really conscious of how your threads lay to make sure they don't twist or anything on each X. Where if you have 1 strand, you don't have that issue. So I did, you know, a few stitches with the 2 strands on the 30 count, and I was like, I just can't do this. Plus, if you're used to stitching 1 strand and you're not paying attention, it's real easy to pull one and just start stitching and go, whoops, that was supposed to be 2. So anyway, I started it, but I did change the piece of linen. This, I think, is Sand Dune, and this is by Lakeside. This is my progress. And this is 40 count. So it won't be near as big, but I'm okay with that. And sometimes I like to do the bands so that then you can just go fill in the alphabets. There's a few letters that are kind of ghosty here, but I don't mind that. And this is Maria Selby Humphrey, 1831, by Blackbird Designs. Here's the pattern again. I don't know if this is still available or not. This came out. They don't always put a date on there, so I'm not sure. Oh, 2013. Yeah, so it's been out for a few years. They are starting to reprint some things. But anyway, love it. Love to do the drum too. And then this is actually the antique here. And then this is, it's like an adaptation from parts of it if you don't want to stitch the whole sampler. And there it is again. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And these are the threads. They're pretty much all Gentle Art. Have to comb them like Nicole does in Nicole's needlework. She combs them with her fingers. It's a very brown and blue and brown kind of sampler, but I really think it's beautiful. Okay, so moving on. These are my starts. I don't usually do this. A lot of people, or some people, have finished this one. This is Maria Finney, 1832, and this, I think I got this in around March or April. This is country, it's part of the Country Sampler Club. So if you go to sgcountrysampler.com and go to their website, SG meaning spring green, but you just put in sgcountrysampler.com. And this is the first, and I think it's called the ABC Schoolgirl Needlework. And this is the first one, and this is by Shakespeare's Peddler, a.k.a. Kitten Stitcher, a.k.a. Teresa Vanette. She does wonderful reproductions and designs. So if you haven't watched Kitten Stitcher yet, you need to. She's a very cool person. And I now call her my friend. Anyway, so I started this one. And so again, this is through Country Sampler. I'm sure at some point it'll be released to everybody. I don't know if that club is still open or not. You would just have to call Country Sampler. Which, you know, some of these have to be on speed dial on your phone. You know, first I have my husband, then I have my sister, and then I have my daughter, or vice versa. And then my son, and there's Country Sampler, Attic, Needlework. It's a necessity. So anyway, these are the colors, and I think it's pronounced the Maria Finney sampler, 1832. And this is an Adam and Eve with a house. So these are the colors. Sort of similar colors to the Blackbird one. And let's see. Where am I on this one? This is how far I've gotten on this. I do generally do my borders first. It's just a thing. I don't know why. I just do. To me, it's like you gotta eat your fruits and vegetables before you have your dessert. So the dessert's like the middle, you know. So the border, which I enjoy the border because I like meat and potatoes. So that's your meat and potatoes, and then when you get on the inside. Sometimes, though, I will do a band in the middle, and that is really just to make sure my count is going correctly. So if I could do it all the way across and it matches up on the other side to where it's supposed to match up, then I'll know that that part that I have stitched around on the border is good. Because when you stitch the whole border and you find out at the very beginning you were off, that's actually the very beginning's not bad. It's when you're like in the middle. So this is Maria Finney, and this is done on Weeks straw by Weeks and 36 count. You could pick 36 or I think 32, 36, 40, something like that. They gave you choices on the schoolgirl group. But it's going to be, you know, wonderful. Little floss toss going on there. And then I have another one that I started, which is, what is that, like 4 or 5 that I started? So that's kind of crazy for me. No, I have another one too. But I did want to say, Weeks Linen, they've started now to change their base linen. So their base linen is now going to be, or at least some of their colors and counts. I don't know their strategy and what they're going to release and what they're going to not change to what they have now. But I know some of the higher counts, like 40, 46, that they are starting to dye that linen on Zweigart, which Zweigart linen is made in Germany, and that's the base linen that they use. And if you ever see linen that has this red or orange stripe on it, that's Zweigart linen. So, you know, a lot of these dyers of linen are basically cottage industries. Picture This Plus, Lakeside, Weeks. So a lot of them, they buy the, you know, yards and yards and yards, and then they hand dye it to the different colors. And, you know, it means you're going to get some variation sometimes. I'm okay with that. I love linen that looks old because I love samplers. So if it looks old, then it looks like an original, and I'm good with that. But anyway, Weeks is now starting to dye some of their higher counts. I don't know if they'll go down to the lower counts or not, but the higher counts for sure, they're dyeing on Zweigart based with the red stripe. So when I'm in the attic, I'm going to get some because why not? Gotta have it. So I have stitched a little bit on, I have one piece that it's Ellen Strick by the Scarlet House that I'm doing on 46 count, and I don't have a problem with it. In fact, Picture This Plus, I've done some 40 count Picture This Plus. It actually measured 23 stitches in an inch, which is 46. So if you can stitch 40, you can stitch 46. I'm really tempted to buy some maybe 52 when I'm in at the attic, maybe a small piece just to try it, just to see. I use 4s glasses when I stitch. So I don't normally wear regular glasses, but I've been having trouble seeing distance a little bit, but I've had an easier time seeing up close. So I went to the eye doctor, and obviously at my age, I'll be 68 in September. Cataracts are just going to be everybody gets them at some point, I think. So he said, yes, you have cataracts. They're going to be okay till maybe mid-spring next year, and then we'll take a look again. But he said whenever your vision flip-flops, so in other words, I used to wear, when I turned 42, I never wore glasses my whole life. But when I turned 42, I started to need, I had to have longer arms, hold a book out or whatever. My dad used to say, my eyes are fine, my arms are too short. But anyway, then all of a sudden it flip-flopped. And he said whenever it flip-flops and you can't see far, but you've been able to see far, and now you can see near, but you hadn't been able to see near, that's a sign of cataracts. I was like, that's an interesting. I was ready to tell him it was because I've been using 4s that's made my close-up vision better. And he just kind of laughed at me like, so when did you get your degree? Ophthalmology. Last week. Anyway, so to see 52 count linen, I have some 4.5s, but you have to be careful if you get too strong of readers, because then you get up to walk around or something, you fall over because you're all messed up. But they do say it's good to like watch TV or something where your eyes are constantly going back and forth, distance, close up with the reader's distance, that's good for your eyes. I don't know. I just want to be able to stitch for a long time. Okay, I have one more thing I started. Now these are whips, but these aren't my whips I had before. 3 of my whips I had before were my finishes. These are new whips. Got it? Okay. I've talked about this one before. This is Mary Gibson, 1824 sampler. I love this piece. I think I mentioned last time Angel, who's a cherub on Instagram, has finished this one. Love it. This is available through the Haslemere Museum in Surrey, England. And you can just put that in, or you can put Mary Gibson 1824 sampler, and this comes as a PDF. was, very easy. I want to say it was somewhere around $17. It was American, United States currency. It was very easy to get. Okay. So I had a huge bag. I don't know who watches my other videos, or if this is the first one you've ever watched. I don't know. But I thank you for watching, because we're getting close to 5,000 subscribers, and you got to do something big for 5,000. And so I've decided I'm going to make a quilt and give away a quilt for 5,000. So if you don't subscribe now, go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff, and maybe you'll win a quilt. It'll probably be Christmas or next year. I don't know. I'll probably make something like a red Irish chain that's very classic, and that most people enjoy red. Anyway, and I would draw for that after I get there. Anyway, I had a big bag of threads because this calls for all DMC, and some of them are a little bit bright. And I really want my piece to look like the picture. So in other words, I don't want a neon pink house. I want it to be more red, and I want the blue to be more blue, not electric blue. Not that that's the colors, but. So last year when I was at Stitchville in Minneapolis, I took the DMCs, and they had a really good selection of silks, and so I tried to convert it. And I'm kind of okay with how I converted it. It's really hard to tell when they're in the bags, but I'm really kind of okay with all these colors. Got reds, some pinks. I've really kind of worked on it so that, like this pink, that's pretty bright, but that's only on a flower, so I'm okay with that. This pink was pretty bright, so I switched it to this kind of reddish, pinkish reddish color here. That's another one. A lot of them are pretty close. A gray, a brown, a black. Those are pretty doable. The reds were supposed to be the real bright 817 red in DMC, and I toned it down a little bit to this Gloriana. So I went ahead and started it just to get a feel for the green, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And this is on, I'm pretty sure it's either Light Exemplar or Butter Pecan by Lakeside. 40 count. 40 count. So I'm kind of going as I go as far as my conversion. So if I get to an area and the color's brighter, I'm going to switch it out as I go. That's kind of what the professionals do. So that's what I'm doing. And that works. I have one other thing I started. And I know a lot of you people, you might watch me, but you're like, I'm not really into samplers. So, I do a lot of other stuff too. And I do smalls, and I do a little bit of everything. Kitten Stitcher showed this last year. She had it all finished. Of course, we all envy all of her wonderful starts. And I've had it kitted for a long time. It's Casting a Spell by Blackbird Designs. I have no idea if this is still available. No idea. But, each one of these is really a fairly easy stitch. And then you have this little pin or scissor fob. No, I think it's a pin thing because it's kind of long. Let me see. Here's a picture of it in the back. This one. Oops. And here's the box. And so each one of these is very doable. And usually mid-August is when I start thinking, maybe I want to stitch something that's fallish, Halloweenish, even though it's hotter than Hades here. Lord have mercy. And so humid. We've had a lot of rain. You walk outside and literally, I my husband's like, he comes back in, he's like, look at me, I'm full of sweat from ear to ear, I'm just dripping. Chill, literally, sit in your chair and just chill. Of course, he makes fun of me too, so anyway, it's been like a sauna. You walk outside and it's just, I'm one of those people, I don't really sweat per se. I mean, I don't have sweat like rolling down. I prefer to say I glisten. Yeah, whatever, Carol. Anyway, so I had this kitted a while. So I thought, I'm going to start this. So I went ahead and started this one. And I finished it. It actually took me a little bit longer than I thought. I spent like a whole Sunday afternoon on that. And I thought it would be kind of cute. And this is a huge piece of Weeks. I do think this is 30 or 32 count Confederate gray because I'm using 2 strands on it. I figure I can persevere when it's small pieces. It does feel nice when you use 2 strands. It's got, it's more raised. I love that feel. I thought it would be cute, although I love the Halloween one. But I thought it would be cute to omit this one and just fill it with, what are those things called? Candy corn. And fill it with candy corn. Oh, that would be cute. Especially since I already did this one. I should have omitted this one and put Halloween here and but now that it's finished. And I also have the box. Now, I haven't painted it. It has this little swing opening. And if you want to know, it's from Hobby Lobby. So here's the number, 648196, $6.99. And you can probably use a coupon, so it's even cheaper than that. And it's wood. I mean, the inside I think is like fake wood or faux wood, but this is wood. It has nice color hinges. So I need to paint it, sand it, wax it, get it so it looks good. And I will do it in the black. And those are just quick little projects. I won't do B. I'll probably do C for Carol. Or W for Whitchurch. I don't know. Anyway, so those are the things I started. I have a lot of stitching to do. And then, as always, I always have a want to start. We're in the process. Okay, so here's my story. I took over we have a 4-bedroom house and we had 2 kids, so there was always an extra bedroom. So that was always my sewing room. I've flip-flopped my sewing room at different times, but the most recent time when I flip-flopped it was when I got my long arm quilting machine. And so my husband had desk and we had a couch, his desk and we had a couch and all that in our family room. Well, that was the only room where my long arm quilting machine would fit. So I said, why don't you put your desk and all that in my sewing room and we'll flip-flop. Now, my sewing room is one of the bedrooms that he built me shelves that are full of fabric for quilts. Full. Floor to ceiling. I gotta live to be 250 and have good eyes. Anyway, so he put his desk in there, but it became a little bit of a catch-all room. You know how that happens. And so recently I said, I think I want to reclaim, especially since we don't have any kids living here. No children, no grandchildren, just no pets. It's he and I. I said, I want to reclaim my sewing room and just make it for sewing. And then I still have the family room with my long arm. And which means I have, a good portion of the house. but, you know, mama's happy, everybody's happy, something like that. So we painted that room, which was the sewing room. We painted the room. And so I'm in the process of moving stuff that had been in my long arm room back to my, you know, so it's kind of still in transition. He still has a little bit of painting to do, and maybe at some point I'll show all that. And that's why I haven't really shown much of my linen stash and all that, because everything's just kind of helter-skelter right now. I mean, I still have places to stitch, and I can always get to the ones that I want to stitch, but at some point maybe I'll show all that when it gets presentable. I just had a little bit of haul that I'll show you. And the first one is Elizabeth Atkinson from Hats, Hands Across the Sea. Sorry about the plastic. This is one of the newer releases. I love that. I just think that's gorgeous. And it calls for silks. And I also have a little bag of silks. I got this one, I think I got this at Silver Needle when I was at Silver Needle, which is in Tulsa. But the silks I got later. I want to say I got those from maybe Sassy Jacks. So, and then I got the other one that was released about the same time, which is Harriet Salt. Oops. Oh, the first one was called Elizabeth Atkinson. Did I say that? So many times I hold them up and then I don't say it. Elizabeth Atkinson, 1829. And then this one. And when I'm at the attic, I'm going to get a Hank. Oh, me and Hank. That sounds like it should be a movie. Me and Hank riding on a tractor. No. Anyway, get back to the subject, Carol. Harriet Salt, 1866. And this is an orphan sampler from the Mueller Bristol. I think it's, yeah, George Mueller's Bristol Orphanage. I homeschooled my kids for a while, and then when I was teaching them about missionaries, and we talked about George Mueller, who was just a phenomenal man. He and his wife took in a lot of children, especially girls, and they trained them to have a skill, whether it was needlework, cooking, whatever, so that they wouldn't end up in the workhouse, but yet they would end up having a skill, and they could be employable in service, so to speak. Joan Seidel, Mama Joan, if you watch her videos, she's doing this, and she's doing it on the Weeks straw, which is, this is Weeks straw, so that'll be the color. And then I want to get a hank of, a hank is just a large, whatever, cut or whatever of soie d'Alger silks of Airsois, I think. I want to say it's 30 yards, but I could be totally wrong. I don't know how many yards it is. Bleep that out. Disregard that comment because I have no idea. But I think it calls for like 8 or 12 skeins if you're doing one strand. So by getting a hank or two, you save in the long run. But anyway, Joan is working on this. There's quite a few people working on it. What is there not to like about that? And this girl was probably between the ages of 12 to 15 when she did that. Absolutely phenomenal. phenomenal. So that was my haul. And then I have what I'm going to call my wanna starts. Ready to start, kitted ones. Okay, so some of these are still in the plastic, so you have to forgive me. This is Miss Manners. I don't know if I showed you this. This is inspired totally by Carolyn, who works at the Attic Stash Sisters on FlossTube. She's working on it. And this is another GGR. And so this is the antique. And this is an attic conversion. It's Gloriana mostly. I think there's a few gum. What's that called? Gum nut. And there's the. So I want to start that really quick, like yesterday. This is one I've wanted to start, and when I was at Silver Needles, when I got all the wools for it, I showed it to you last time. Jane Pattison. And these are the wools. And this is vintage navy bean, which is what it calls for. Yes, beautiful. Jane Pattison, 1806, by Shakespeare's Peddler, a.k.a. Kitten Stitcher, a.k.a. Teresa Vanette. I think she showed that one recently, and I had it. I had the pattern, so I said, oh, I gotta get that one. So those are two samplers I want to start, and then there's a couple fallish pieces. I've wanted to stitch this forever and a day. My pattern got yucky. I don't know what happened anywhere. This is Ghoultide. I've done Yuletide. And I've done, what else did I do that was in this family? I did the Americana one. I can't remember the name of it now. But this is Ghoultide. And it calls for NPI silks. And that's how I have it kitted. And my linen I'm going to use is 36 count sand dune by Lakeside. Hard to see those with all the plastic. A lot of browns, golds, and a little bit of orangey reds. Another one I've always wanted to start. I don't even know where I got this. Pumpkin Season. I love this. Exemplars from the Heart. Let me see if I can check this out. This one also calls for NPI silks. How cute is that? Scary, friendly, sweet, and silly. All these pumpkins are dilly. That's a lot of almost full coverage. But how cute is that? This one you can do in DMC, NPI silks, or something else. I'm not sure what the other one is. It just has initials. So, and this is vintage maritime white. There again, a lot of oranges. Oh, that'll be fun. This is a little bit of what I have. Stitch. I've always wanted to do this one. This is Scarlet House, Pumpkins and Bittersweet. That's just cute. This little part here, Bittersweet, is over 1. That's not bad. And this one is, I'm going to do on Vintage Meadow Rue. And this, I don't have these on a ring. That's the called for. Pumpkins and Bittersweet. This is another one I should start before I leave on Wednesday, because that pumpkin would be good fill-in when you're SWF, stitching with French. My brain. Oh, that's my Halloween. I'm like, ah! The other one, I don't know if I'll get to this, but I love this. Fall Frolic, Scarlet House. Very cute. And I have it kitted also on Confederate Gray. And there's all the colors. Again, browns, blacks, and oranges. I mean, that's Christmas, Halloween-ish. Isn't that cute? Love the moon. Cat in the moon. Owl in the moon. I tell you, I can't tell animals. There's something in my brain that doesn't work. Obviously. Oh my. I do. I have trouble distinguishing animals. Now, is that an owl? Looks like a head of an owl. But I think it looks like owls don't have tails like that, so it'd have to be a cat. It's not the design, it's me. I know that. When my kids were little, they'd say, "Oh, look at there's a shape of a horse," and I'm like, "That's not a horse." Mom, this is a horse. I have trouble with right and left too. I have to think about it. It doesn't like automatically come to my brain. Oh, that's right, or oh, that's left. It's a deficiency. Okay, I'm going to show you just a little bit more, and then I'm going to let you go because this is getting over the top. It's like, okay, show 3 that you've done and 47 that you haven't done. Is that the idea, floss tube? I don't know. I'm going to call this group of samplers the Sunday School series because it's just like Sunday School. I won't show you the fabric and all that. Oh. Well, I'm ripping the bag, but that's... This one, you know, there is a woman named Carol, also known as Sampler Farm, on Instagram. I'm not sure what her Facebook. I don't really do Facebook very much. I'll do Messenger if somebody messages me, but I don't really post on Facebook. I mean, that's like high school friends and nephews, and they're like, she's doing what with thread and what? You know, they could care less. Where Instagram's pretty much just my stitching. But anyway, Sampler Farm, Carol, has, she is my inspiration. I won't say idol because idolatry is wrong, but she's right up there. I see all the samplers on her wall, and she's done a lot. I think she said she had done 53 Scarlet Letter, which I have not done any Scarlet Letter. I feel like I'm in kindergarten compared to her. She's like got her doctorate. Anyway, I think she's the one I saw this, that she had it stitched and framed. But this is part of the Sunday School series. I'm going to call it that. This is 7 Days of Creation. It's a lot of text, stitching, a lot of words. Can you see it? By Plum Street. It's an older chart. I did recently Google it, and there was still one place that carried it. It's like Casa something, and I think that's where I originally got it. 7 days of creation. Love it. That's kitted with silk. You've all seen this one. This has been around. Everybody's done it. I haven't. All Creatures Great and Small by Barbara Anna. I want to do this really bad. Again, part of the Sunday School series. Or I guess since it's summer, we could call it Vacation Bible School. This one is Plum Street. It's called The Flood by Plum Street. There again, I don't know how new or old these are. I've collected them. Love it. I mean, you gotta have Noah. If you have Adam and Eve, you gotta have Noah. This is another Barbara Anna called The Fall. The serpent beguiled me and I did eat. I love that. Look at that. I'm sorry for the plastic. I just can't take out. You know, some of these bags are those. I know they're probably more reasonable, but I don't like the bags that have the fold over because they tend to tear. Or the sticky part of the fold over sticks to the charts. And I'm not criticizing the designers. I know they do what's most economical for them. Here's a better picture. And it's basically, now the serpent was, you know, it's right out of Scripture from Genesis in the beginning. And this one is, let's see, it calls for anchor. Oh, it's Barbara Anna. I think she does do quite a bit of anchor, or does anchor. And that's actually what I have it kitted with, is anchor. I'm kind of getting a theme here with all these teals, greens, and browns. Seems like there's quite a few things I want to stitch. It'd be fun to have a Sunday school wall. Paradise Lost. And this one is this is Plum Street, and this is Silks, done with silks. The banner says, what is that? What is that thou hast done? Sorry, it's hard to read with the... Now the serpent was more subtle than any other beast of the field. And that one, again, is called, ooh, the light switched, Paradise Lost. Should I keep going? I have to quilt in order to have money to go to retreats. But I need to just stitch 24/7. Which, by the way, tonight is 24 hours of cross stitch. I don't have anything going tomorrow except I was planning on quilting, so I don't know. I'm going to try to stay up till like 3. Last night I went to bed about, I don't know, 1:30. As long as I don't have to get up in the morning, I'm fine. As long as I get 6 to 7 hours sleep, I'm good. And I'm still a morning person. Once I'm up, I'm ready to go. This is by Midsummer Night Designs. This I actually saw when I was watching, I want to say it was Nicola from Hands Across the Sea, and she was at the attic one time, and she was touring, like with her video, the attic, and this was on the wall, and it had a number like 10, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, I love that. See, here, it's hard to see. Well, okay. I will. See, we're at an hour. I thought, oh, this would be 20 minutes at the most. See, it's like night and day. And then it is the same. No, it's the Lord is my shepherd. There's a couple different scriptures. And then you have the beautiful scene down here. Peaceful Paradise by Midsummer Night Designs. So I got that from the attic. I called and I said, chart number 10, does that mean anything? And they said, oh yeah, well, I want that. And this is, you can do, this is all cotton. Calls for DMC and Classic Colorworks. And I have a piece of, what do I have in here? Just 36 count exemplar. It's not vintage, it's not light, it's just exemplar. You almost have to have something with a little bit of color to it because there are parts that have white, you know, like here. Sunday School series. I love these. I do. I really, they call me. Maybe it's God calling. Maybe it's not the samplers. One more. There was a gal that used to be in our stitching group here in Jacksonville. She ended up moving. She was a phenomenal stitcher. Her name was Janet Howe. And she did this one on 40 count, I think. She used to stitch a lot on 40 count. And I loved it then. Got the pattern. It's called Brother's Keeper by Plum Street. And it has the whole story of Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel. So I just need one with the 10 Commandments, and then I'll have Cain, Abel, Adam, Eve, Noah, and I need a Moses. Let my people go. Let Carol go stitch. Okay, I'm going to show you one other thing. It's not stitching, it's quilting, and then I'm going to let you go because I know you're like, okay, get on with it. I got work to do. I started this quilt eons ago. This is called Halloween 1904 by Blackbird Designs. This has some wonderful quilt patterns in it. It's just a leaflet. And I made this decision that all of these stars I would hand applique. So I've been working on it for a while. I have a lot of them finished, but I still have some to finish. But I got a little impatient, so I have them grouped, you know, because some of them are four oranges. It's very scrappy, orange and black. This one's almost a reddish orange. I have homespuns. I have a little bit of everything. Brighter ones. So I don't know. I think there's quite a few. There's 12. Let's see. No, there's 16 blocks. Each block, with the exception of just a couple. This one has a pumpkin. This one has a pumpkin, but they still have a star on them. But and there's a pumpkin over here. But the rest of them have four stars. So I got a little impatient to at least start putting a block together. So this is what the half square triangles will look like, and they're all either black and tan or orange and tan. So I have one block almost. I just need to put the other half square triangles around it. So maybe I'll finish it this year. I've been working on this off and on for a while. Sometimes when I have the opportunity to sit and do hand stitching, hand applique, I opt for stitching instead, but it's all good. I think that's all I have. Leaving Wednesday for the attic, coming home late Sunday night. I have a long flight because for some reason, coming out of Phoenix, I could only get into Denver and then Denver home, and there were limited flights through Southwest. So it is what it is. I'm just thrilled to be able to go. I think there's going to be 4 different designers there, including Scarlet House and I can't remember. I'm just going to be happy to be there. We're getting there Wednesday. I don't think events even start till Friday, but I'm meeting up with, I call them the Chicago girls, Brenda Sampler Stitcher and Laura, who's Maud, and Brenda's Brenda Sampler Stitcher, and Laura, who's Maud and Mozart, and Kelly, who's Chef Kelly, and I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Patty. I get to meet Patty. I haven't met Patty. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm really excited. And I think, I hate to make promises, but I think I will be back within 2 weeks after I get back from the attic so I can show you any haul that I got. Who am I getting? Any haul. And my frame pieces. I have 4 frame pieces. They're all pieces you've seen finished, but it's even more fun when you see them framed. So hope you're having a good summer. I hope you're doing a lot of stitching, and I will see you in a couple weeks. Bye. Love you.